conversation of can she replace a Sova, but in this lineup, she's essentially replacing the Breach.
Yeah.
Well, Zeke has already shown that he can pretty much play anything and everything, but how good will his Skye be on Ascent? Let's find out now.
Oh, it's time to go. Time to rumble with G2 versus NIP. Map number 1. Now, Lothar, just before we went in there, we were having the conversation about the Skye and the Sova together. The fact that Zeke is essentially replacing the Breach that you would normally see in this lineup. What's your take on that?
I feel like this is a pretty cool setup because it allows to be way more, let's say, aware of what is happening on the map without actually peeking anywhere. Because Zeke will just get the sound cues on attack or defense, and that will allow to G2 play more consciously on the map with the inclusion of the killjoy as well. That gives a lot of map control, and not only in defense, also in attack. I really love it, although I do think Bridge is more impactful in attack.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. And even on defense, getting aggressive on some angles, but obviously then there's that what Breach does well, Skye doesn't necessarily, but she has her own benefits, as we're saying, right? We'll see.
Look at the push. Look at the push right now. Jet made some noise A short. They still have a killjoy turret set up on A lobby, which now was recalled, and that was being heard by NIP, which triggers the rotation towards B. Look at that. There's already a stack happening. They know what's gonna happen. They are prepared. NIP has 4 players already on A, and market is being closed. Everyone will have to go through that door or go through the garage.
Artist Recon Dart backside confirms there's a player, and they confirms it's an Omen. Omen needs to peek first here if they're going to try to fake out the boathouse play. Spam's going down as JD takes out Zeke. They'll close in on the site, but there's still 2 players to deal with. The flash is perfect, and a Kukos or Existence completely shuts them down. Mixwell's all by himself and taken down by JD in an awkward engagement. But that stack in Boathouse, you cannot do that as efficiently with a Skye. But that flash, it pops so quickly, players are already peeking out, and you're dead to rights at that point. The timing was perfect from Big Brain Existence.
Yeah, right. I had like 2 things happened here. Rhyme having the info that the killjoy turret was recalled triggers that rotation. That was the most important part of that round. Obviously, then Akukos, I don't know how do we call him? Akukos, right? Let's go for Akukos. Akukos just nailing that flash for 3 seconds on all of those players. They all die to it, and it falls apart. And then Mixwell with that frenzy on such a long range engagement. That was 20 meters. Frenzy then is just inconsistent, and you can see that. And now they execute on B side, already taking control of the side. Korea with only a ghost, but Chihuahua has the god. Gets 2 kills with the Spectre. 3rd one dies to Akukos. And it's flawless rounds all over the place.
Clean as can be. They might as well be wiping windows at this point, because it is just squeaky clean. I always hated the squeak they make, you know, when you just take the water. Oh, it makes me shiver.
But it's such a good outcome for NIP. They didn't lose anything, right? Look at that. Akukos has a Phantom, so 1 rifle on this bonus round, quote unquote, right? Which still allows them to full buy next round. It's so important. Akukos will be pivotal to the presence on the map, because he will be able to peek long range while flashing for his teammates who can be close range with the Spectres, be very aggressive, or just take, like, just, you know, more aggressive engagement himself. It's super important for them to win a flawless round like that, because that allows them to have that rifle here and be more confident.
Speaking of confidence, G2, well, they're always a team that have confidence in the title or the description of their game. Everybody talks about it, and it's something that I don't feel like it's even possible to take out of the team. It doesn't matter how much they're losing by. We saw them go 7-1 down on Bind 2 days ago, and then they were just like, all right, let's play the game properly. Like, you can't get these guys in a bad mood. And for them, it's a strong suit of, like, you never feel comfortable versus G2 because you just never know what they're going to do, and you know they're never feeling down and out. Right now on the attack side with the first buy round, this is where they want to start to build up that little bit of confidence, and running out towards the site, the slow goes down, the recon dart's there. Perfect execute by NIP, but it doesn't get any shots out. It doesn't tag anybody, so they can't spam them up through the smoke. Now the fight has to go down on site. Double peek is very well handled, but there's the paranoia, making it that little bit harder to hold on. Patatek takes down Kriya with an opening back into the round. They try to split in through the door, but the door is closed. So Artis has to come behind and spawn just as he's being checked, but he still wins the fight. Chihuahua goes down. The benefit of having those better weapons, right? The downside is there's 10 seconds left as they move forward. Only one player, and what a shot by Patatek. That was a close one. The time was almost their biggest enemy, but in the end, the clock didn't matter because they win both fights.
I'm really actually confused. Why did NIP play that positioning right here with only 10 seconds left? They could have both play backside, and instead they opted to have an odd angle for themselves, or they could have just played time. Look at the timer. 10 seconds. If both players play backside and they don't have to peek, they just have that info that one guy starts to plant, there's only one player left that will guard the angles. So even though G2 will know that they're both stacking backside, they will have the chance to basically kill one player. I felt like NIP had the upper hand the entire round. They read G2 like a book, hold the entire site, and then they failed off just executing the let's say almost at the end of the round, right? Because there was no plant.
Yeah, it was definitely a tough pill to swallow on that one. Yeah, you could have just played the time, but obviously they wanted to take it more proactive. There was an attempt, it didn't work. Now we're into 3 versus 4 as NIP want to rotate back into side, but they don't know about Mixwell up close in garden. He could be the real big player here because they're smoking it out, they're shock darting, and they're going for the plant. Those players aren't going to push it to heaven just yet, I would have thought. Yeah, no, they're not. So Mixwell's going to be the one to take first point of contact. Kriya wants to clear him out. Thinking about it, they're worried about short, but the timing is there. Mixwell swings as they start to forget about that position, and he gets a triple. That is heartbreaking if you're NIP. But Rhyme is, well, no, he's not still here. He's gone. He's dead.
The reluctance in movement there in garden they paid the price for that, right? They didn't use the paranoia on Omen because Akukos was standing in line, so he couldn't guard tree, and because of that, they were just reluctant of what they should do, and it fell apart. We had seen Kriya just dry peek when we didn't see anything proactive being made by Akukos. He died to Mixwell, then a double kill happened, and a solo push for a smoke when Mixwell already changed his positioning was a 50-50 basically. So it was a little bit awkward for NIP, and G2 convincingly takes that round. But now, in round number 5, they're playing default. They're playing slow, something that we don't really see often from G2. Look at that. The bomb is just being set on the ground. They wait. Anyone can just push them, and they'll be ready for that. I like that. I like this approach. But NIP being passive as well, no one is pushing everything. So G2 didn't gain anything from how they played this round. They were prepared for those pushes. They didn't happen. Now they have to form a plan. They go towards A. Artis still looking mid, didn't use any utility. Oh, sorry, he used actually Recon Bolt for the market. Now they make a lot of noise on A. NIP, a little bit prepared for that, but there's a lot of smokes on A short, which confuses Kriya. Flashes, take control of A. G2 dashes on side. Kriya just peeks, kills Mixwell in the back, but took too long time for him to be meaningful.
This is a bit dangerous now. Chihuahua's 1 HP. He's being spotted underneath. They know he's there, so they'll deal with him. 2v4 emerges. NIP. They're trying to cover all their bases, right? Worried about Mixwell again. They know he's dead, but maybe someone else is taking his place. Short's clear. They know that. Now it's time to look back towards the site. The door is put down. In fact, they put it down themselves on the retreat. That attack. Taking down JD. It is looking like this one's going to be done. Unless Rhyme has got a massive play up his sleeve. Now, in this situation, dying to the spike would be kind of the ideal scenario. You definitely don't want to survive the round, and dying to them isn't great. You don't want to feed their ultimate points, but if he can make it costly and get a kill, that would be massive, but it's not going to happen. Not today. Patatek takes him down. 3-2.
But I actually really like how G2 played here. This looked like an actual execute with a plan in mind, you know? The double smoke on A short really confused NIP. They didn't know what's happening. They didn't hear any steps, of course, but if you have double smoke setups on A short from tree to A side, you don't know if someone crosses that. So Kriya had to push these smokes Then he went on side, but unfortunately, he wasn't fast enough to kill Mixwell on electric, and because of that, he couldn't go back underneath the doorway that was being closed behind him. So it was a little bit awkward. If he had a proper weapon, not just a classic, that would have been much different situation, but you know, it was an eco. Now Rhyme, with the push from Breach, allowed him to get a kill, but then he is being traded still an upper hand for NIP. But the execute is happening and Akukos fails. Now we have control of side being taken by G2 because of the ultimate from Omen. Patidix on the backside. 3 players from G2 taking control of side. Are there any ultimates that can be used for the retake? Not anything meaningful. There's a resurrection from Sage. But is there anybody available? There is in B connector.
Your duty is not over.
Rhyme now is gonna be the crucial part of this retake. He will have his recon arrow available 100%. Good kill by Chihuahua.
Oh, this is a free kill. This is a free kill. Korea takes him, but either way, that was going to be a frag. The player got spotted right behind the smoke. Zeke in trouble. 24 HP, has to hit them all, and there's no way that's going his way. Defuse easily comes through without a single player loss on the retake. Gorgeous stuff from NIP. I always get
That was close. That was getting close. Okay. Right. I didn't hear where he started actually the defuse, because you can always be certain if you're gonna get it once you see this the timer changes the special position on the bar. Maybe that's something I had to post like and mark it with like a marker or something, you know, in paint.
Yeah.
But we didn't see that before. Cool round.
There's
Cool
also a sound change as well, right? When they defuse it halfway and when they defuse it full.
Yes, that is
like
something.
bass.
There are 2 things that if someone is new to Valorant and currently in the chat and wondering what we're talking about, there are a few things that are very like, let's say, small details, and you have to pay attention to those. One, when someone is defusing the spike and he is halfway already and he starts to defuse it, there's a higher pitch sound from that. So you know that someone has only 3.5 seconds to actually defuse the spike, which is very crucial. And the second one is also with the spike. When you plant the bomb, always plant it with your weapon out, because when you either cancel the plant or you get the plant off, your weapon is being drawn out from your equipment with half of its equip time. So a rifle like a Vandal or Phantom only takes 500 milliseconds instead of a full second, which is crucial when you want to take a fight when you fake the plant, or when you actually take a fight after you plant.
Pro tips from Lothar. No, we see it. We actually see it cost players rounds fairly regularly.
Yeah, right.
Especially
On
the
pro
second
play.
one, taking your knife out. We saw just in the previous game from Fearoth. So you gotta be cautious about that. What you also gotta be cautious of is running out of time in a round. Right now, G2 are set up outside A. They got pushed back by a little bit of utility and some fights not going their way. Not going against them, but just not going their way.
30 seconds
So with 30
left.
seconds left, they're kind of pitch-and-hold into going to the A side, or making a very loud and obvious rotation. Chihuahua, it was a bit of a misclick, hit his keyboard, I bet, as he flicked to the left, gives away his position, and he dies because of it. Gotta get your line keyboard there, Chihuahua. As he falls down, we're now in a 4 versus 3. NIP still have the advantage on the retake. They have the Rolling Thunder as well, and this is where G2 need to be very careful of the positions they're in. If that player can hit a 3-man Rolling Thunder, the round is over. You have to be able to spread out and take positions where you're not in as much danger. There's going to be the crossover from Patatek, and he goes at just the wrong time, still gets caught, goes for the reload, because why not? You're dead. Rhymes in with a quad kill to leave Mixwell alone. Op in hand. He wants to go for the spam, but he realizes he'll just be killed immediately as all 4 players are on the site. They would spam back through the smoke, and that would be the end of Mix. Although he did have the dash, so I guess he just wanted to be 100% certain he saved the weapon in case somebody was close. That's 4-3, and that is NIP with a lead.
Still looking good for G2. They have a decent economy. They can still buy. Piff will be playing with a small armor, but with small shields, but that's still okay. They have practically an entirely full buy with the op still in the hand of Mixwell. Now, oh boy, that guy is capable with that weapon in his hands. So, NIP still has to be very aware of how to play this round, and it seems like they're gonna go for actually an active push on B. Akukos is ready with the flash. In the meantime, Rhyme is getting info in the A lobby. He only sees the sky, so he's not really afraid. And because of that, he is peeking. He knows it's a 1v1 battle. He takes that 50-50, and he actually picks with the shock dart in hand. I am flabbergasted.
Yeah, unfortunately, this isn't Robin Hood. You know, bow and arrows aren't quite as lethal as... I mean, look at Jamba, for example. He'll tell you otherwise. But when you're going out for a straight body shot like that, not quite the way to go about it.
This is not escalation. The Shokta doesn't deal 150 damage when you direct hit. You know that's actually a thing, right? In escalation.
Is it random weapons? Because I didn't get a shock dart.
It is. It is random weapons, but a shock dart is actually different in escalation than in real competitive mode because it deals double damage with direct hits. So you're able to deal over 150, which normally is 90. Even if you nail someone to the forehead with this arrow, it's gonna be only 90 damage.
Oh, Seeker, this is huge. He's going to catch the player out on the B side. He's pursued all the way to the site. He's trying to... Whoa, the Seeker got a bit confused himself there. And eventually gets hit as well. Oh, Korea. That one sucks. So he didn't want to give away the op shot. Then he goes to shoot it with the pistol, fails, because it got, like, stuck on... I've never seen that. It had, like, a little break dance and then jumped over and tried to kill him. That's a real shame. Losing out your op, losing out the site, and pretty much losing out the round because at this point NIP are just considering the save. Poor Korea, man. He's gonna have nightmares about that for weeks.
Yeah, that's gonna hold him, and that's unfortunate. Those rounds in pro play, your morale just falls down like so badly because you failed on the utility, right? It's not even a player, and because of that utility, you actually died later on, and you lost an op because of that. That's like a triple sting. And because of that, look how NIP just plays. Like, they have to save. There's no other option. Even though they're gonna be on a low buy on 2 of their players. They have to do that. And it sucks because they play Ascend, which is a little bit defender base as well.
Oh, for sure. Now, if you're playing Ascent... Well, the thing is, though, one caveat to that is versus G2. G2 pick up a lot of rounds on their attack side, man. I feel like if you can manage to even neck out that 6-6, there's at least some sort of positivity if you win the pistol round then in the next one. But it does put a bit of weight on that round. You two got 6 rounds, then they win pistol. You're definitely in hot water.
But hey, this is a G2 that plays a little bit differently. They have that team composition that is not focusing on duelists, and there's actually a lot of information given by those players. Look at that. Sova, Killjoy, Sky. And you might think, oh, that this is not really they have no second sentinel and so on. It doesn't matter. They can play really good rotations just because Zeke and Ardis are allowed to take map control by using their utility. Or maybe not taking map control, but taking map info. If they see 3 players being, spotted by the drone or the recon arrow, they know what to do. If Zeke gets the gongs off from the Hawks on like specific locations on the map, they're gonna know what's happening as well. So this is such a good composition for defense as well.
This is also the first time that we're getting to see G2 actually play this comp, because although they've played it twice before, obviously it was in the early stages of VCT, round of 64,
let me check.
16 or something.
But actually, Zeke played Sky twice on Ascend in the past 3 months.
Yeah, but look at when it was. There was no stream, is what I mean. We can't actually see those games. So getting to see how they use this comp is also a bit of a treat for those in the EU that will have noticed that they changed but not gotten to really see it, right?
Yeah, but this is the difference between EU and NA, right? In EU, it seems like the metagame kind of changes for players to pick more useful agents when it comes to utility and try to use less of the players that less of the agents that are more selfish, like Reyna, an example.
Yeah, in NA it's like Phoenix goes. Oh, the dash almost saves Mixwell, buys him a bit of time, but he hits the wall. Unfortunately, not able to break through it, and that's a very nice operator skin given over towards NIP. The push into the B site is going to be executed. We've seen very, very slow rounds so far from G2, which I'm not really accustomed to seeing. They're hoping that NIP make a mistake, trying to rob them of any sort of confidence to go for early peaks. Pith, he wanted to get up there. The door is closed. Shut down is Rhyme as 4v3, but Chihuahua backside still alive. He's good for 2. He's looking for more. Watch Chihuahua. He's got a 3k from backside and a 4k. Chihuahua, what is that? And again, it goes back to the point. This guy, he plays a very boring role. He's not the one that's typically going to be fragging out like crazy. I mean, basically for a whole half, he's handicapped because he can't play the same sort of aggressive style that he wants to, or that he could, definitely, or that JD does, for example. On the attack, he's less involved in those engagements. And then you see him in these situations where he can deliver, and oh boy, he does.
Yeah, Chihuahua man, we had seen him do work on Split 2 weeks ago, and he delivers again. This guy is a beast. Too bad the minimap doesn't show really well the traps from Cypher. Like, you can't really read them correctly if they are being used in the specific spots. Something that we have to, like, I don't know, maybe tell to the devs, because it's so important for the minimap on pro play level. Tiger getting control of A lobby. No one spotted there, but they go back. Mixwell gets the heal. Look at the multi-purpose of Sky. Scouting, healing, getting info, flashing. His agent has it all. But everything is... I mean, sorry, the heal is actually way more useful than the Sage heal.
Being able to heal up all your teammates at once, obviously, but also being able to deal damage to the others, apparently, because Zeke's come in, he's just headshotting everybody. A site's completely open, and they're going in there to get a plant. Nice and easy. Nice and clean. 4v2. And with that, NIP are sat there thinking, you know what, we'll just save these weapons, probably. Because
it's so unfortunate, right? From a round where Chihuahua just get a 4K, we go to a round when they lose 3 guys on site. That's quite unfortunate. But Zeke is just doing his job, probably. We have seen that in previous matches when he was playing Breach. I love him on Breach, by the way. And I see he's playing very well on Sky as well. Very similar, right? Because the flashes work kind of similarly. But the thing is, he's a little bit less mobile with the flashes from Sky. But he is such a consistent player. Good crossfire by G2, but JD dies anyway.
I don't know the jump up, though. Like, was he looking to pursue that player and really take the weapon out of his hands? Maybe because they'd be so close to the spike explosion. He thought, okay, well, if I pressure them and they fall back, they'll die to the spike. We lose, we drop the weapons. It was semi-okay. Considering the money that a lot of them have, you don't mind losing rifles that much. But if you're... yeah, okay. I was going to say Akukos or Existence better drop. Also, somebody told me there on Twitter, MTG, shout out, because he let us know that Akukos stands for, like, there will be no mercy or no mercy or something like that. He wasn't 100% sure, but that's the...
Is that in French?
I don't think so. But he didn't know what language it was. But it means it in something. So...
You have to ask just Existence. And why did he change, right? As well. Maybe he just wanted to cut off from his past, which is also pretty cool.
Yeah, weird though. I don't know. He's got such a brand and so recognizable, but fair enough. He likes the name of Akukos. Why not? Go for it. Maybe he's waiting, like, can't change his name on Riot for a while. Maybe that's it. But look, G2, they're actually pressuring a lot on short, but look at mid. They've pushed all the way up. They're looking to move into spawn, and a fight's about to go down with JD, who just shuts down one. On the site, that fake that's being sold, Mixwell's doing a good job of it. He just bails out of there, drops the smoke. They now realize, or they will in a second, okay, we're actually being duped here, because here's the push out to the B side. Up close, Rhyme is able to catch himself. Zeke, Artist shuts him down right away. Good trade. They can get on site. They can get the spike plants, and Mixwell stabs one in the back. Really nice round from G2, but it's not over yet. NIP are on their way back in. With the door not closed. Mixwell, oh, he's hearing the steps. He knows there's one player going spawn. And he's ready for one to come out market. This could be pretty huge. Considering he's low HP, normally you'd, like, basically be out of the round in a lot of scenarios. But he can really do it here because he's on a head peek angle.
Oh, I love that by Akukos.
He's just been shut down. Yeah, we saw it the other day, right? The player failed to do that. Artist is taking down Akukos on the push, but he's still 33 HP. There's plenty of time. Well, maybe not plenty, but considering how close he is, the timing from Artist, really well done on the peak. 6-5, G2, they take the lead.
He didn't even have to move his crosser. He just peeked with his crosser being static. Look at that. Perfect crosser placement. So well played by Artist, especially since he was just one bullet away from being dead. So, I have to mention, I love that Akukos still had his aftershock. He cleared, even though there would no one be on logs, they would have still have a very, let's say, fierce attack coming from CT and market at the same time, just because aftershock was saved to check that angle. But at the same time, I checked it in the custom game. You can use the aftershock to check both logs and the corner next to market entrance at the same time. So you can use it more effectively.
And that is on this update, right? Because the previous, it was 2.02
Yes, this is
where they
this-
made that change.
This is this update.
Just because in case somebody at home is a little bit curious. Obviously, we are playing on 2.02, not 03. So the recent change, Frenzy, Marshall, Spectre, all gone. You know, they're not here. Not right now.
Stinger.
Did I say Marshall? Sorry.
Yeah,
no,
I
meant
you
Marshall.
said Spectre.
Spectre, excuse me. Stinger.
Out of my way.
Obviously, I can't name weapons very quickly. So, Kuko's in a little bit of trouble. That Molly is so pesky to deal with. It's placed down below and then activated above. You can see it right there. There's nothing you can really do. Now, we're looking at JD swinging, catching them with Rhyme. Got one more to deal with, but he can't get it done. Kuko's, who had been delayed, doesn't know about Pith, gets peeked from the side and shut down. 7-5. I said G2 on the attack, they're pretty good. Well, they've managed 7 rounds now. If they win this pistol, that's going to be a huge thorn in the side for NIP. Remember, though, this map used to be G2's home ground. This was where you absolutely did not want to face them back when we had 3 maps. And it wouldn't be very good if you had only 2 out of 3 maps you wanted to play versus your opponent. Kind of screwed you in a lot of scenarios.
Well, I have to say, I'm really impressed with G2. I wasn't really a fan of how G2 played the game before. I really hated the playstyle that they represented, and since I'm a bigger fan of just, you know, a playbook style of play in general when it comes to VALORANT, because it's such a utility heavy based game. But I like what I see right now. There's a huge change, and from what I see before in the past 3 months, they were not playing a lot of mid presence on Ascent in general. And look at that, they're actually pushing on mid, so a huge change up in their playstyle. Really like that. They're getting a lot of map control right now. They have traps. Sorry, my god, it's NIP on attack. What I'm talking about.
I was a little bit confused.
No, I'm sorry.
No, it happened, dude. With the way the map, I'll tell you exactly what happened. It's the map and the scoreboard because they swap. It's really
The colors, man.
the colors. They do mess with you. They mess with me all the time. Like the heal goes in. It's out of ammo though. Zeke not able to fully heal his teammate up, but it's all right. They can live with it. The push from G2, sorry, from NIP, that's a force of habit from the previous one, is going in towards the B side. You've got one player stuck up close. There we go. The right click on that range. Excuse me, Pith. So it's supposed to be nerfed, but Pith says no. They all go in a straight line for him. Shut down in the second, though. So with the spike being planted, look at the HP. 2 players super low, and G2, oh, that's not quite the dash he wanted. As these players push in, one boat, one backside, but they don't know that they're all just stacked up close. And the frenzy round, not even the pistol round, it goes the way of NIP. They needed that as well. You don't want to let G2 get off to a stellar 9-5 start.
Yeah, I'm not certain if that Mixwell dash was actually faked, or did he want to do that on purpose or not. It felt like he did want to fake that, so he just went onto the catwalk later on. I feel like that was okay, but it didn't pay enough dividends for his teammates because they then failed to just get any control of the side. No one turned away from the stairs and they couldn't push, and they all died one by one basically because of that. NIP this time got control of A lobby, and Chihuahua wins that 1 versus 1. That is awkward for G2. They forced, and now they are on a back foot.
They should still be able to pull this one off, but the problem is now your players on the A side are under pressure. You can't fully rotate just yet. Your Killjoy wants to keep her utility activated, but now that means his 1vx is constantly being offered up. Artis almost jump shots. He's in a little bit of danger. Gets tagged up. Mixwell on the side. He's the one. He finds it. Dashes to the back. Smoke down. Spray not good. Rhyme able to take him. JD with another. The silenced weapons through smoke, man. They're so dangerous. And now NIP have got the advantage. They've got the site. They've got the plant. It's up to G2 to get right back in here. Not the kind of round that you want to be losing right after the pistol. We shut down in that way, but
Oof,
it happened.
this one stinks for sure. Like you feeling that you force your round and you lost that 1v1 engagement in A lobby. No one was there to trade. Having to defend a forced round 5 versus 4 is really a tough task, and especially on a map like Ascent where you lose your smokes, right? Patadeg was dead. You cannot really create space on the map to play short range because you play stingers, you play those specters. You want to play close range, but you don't have smokes anymore now when you try to retake.
That makes it a whole lot tougher, really, without being able to isolate those angles. you're basically running out and hoping they're not holding you or that you win the duel.
I mean, oh, sorry, this is a throwaway round, so
Yeah.
Padida could have just made that high risk, high reward play, especially since he was only having a pistol round, but then Mixwell just rushes in.
Well,
What a bloodbath. But he still, they did get 2.
if it was Padatek doing that on a full buy round, rushing up, yeah, we'd have some issue.
Yeah.
But I think the idea there, and I kind of like it. You pop the smoke, you're thinking maybe they're going to be a bit afraid. Maybe they'll fall back. He gets up close. Maybe Shadow steps up above. I'm not sure. Maybe he just walks around the corner. But you hope that nobody is there. There was someone there, though.
He played that one-way smoke because why would anyone push a one-way smoke for himself, right? Makes no sense. So he had a gamble, but Chihuahua was like, yeah, I'm going to know that you're going to go for that gamble. And I'm just holding, see your legs and be like, bye-bye. Mixwell with the angle for the jump. But it gets spotted by the drone, has to retreat to the market. Then you can see Audis is taking place of him. So the NIP doesn't know if someone is in the market. That's such a small but crucial play when it comes to map control. And that allows Mixwell now go to B and goes to take B garage control, which is being controlled by the traps from Cypher, from NIP, and now they're being stacking on A, where Piff actually holds the A short. This is such a crucial piece. Now they know that everyone else is just on side and no one is pushing else on A short. Everyone is on side. 5v4 retake for G2.
Ultis to play with on either team. Going to be a limiting factor. You know, if you had it up for NIP like a Rolling Thunder, maybe they try some aggression, push up into heaven or something, but it's not going to be. Oh, that's the first for me. A kill in a pro game with a wolf for the I've been casting. Doesn't happen all the time, but it's happened this time. The turret booped back, but it causes some unfortunate angles. And we end up in a 1 versus 3. Hold on! Korea runs out of ammo, and that's all that stops him. Zeke in with the triple. But that was damn close. I actually don't think he wins that if there's a couple more bullets.
If he has a Phantom, I don't think he wins that. If his opponent has a Phantom, obviously.
Extra 5.
But Piff got flashed by Zeke, and that could have been a disaster. Look at that. Imagine that the first player that falls down was actually Zeke, which then gets killed, and Piff cannot follow up because he's flashed. My god, that could have given Kriya the time to switch to Classic and just get a kill on Piff. Was very shaky. But G2 pulls through, and that was an important round because now we still have a full buy from NIP, but this is a chance to still redeem the economy for G2. They play 2 rifles, some Guardians, Mixwell of the knives gets 1, then the resurrection happens, it's still even. Mixwell goes for a second, doesn't get it, spams through smoke, Kriya gets hit for 2 times, half HP for him.
I do wonder. Oh, hold on. Shock Dart going up is actually going to catch a little bit of damage. These Seekers being destroyed straight away give very little information. Rhyme goes down underneath. The dash out to sight. The trade, not even needed. Kriya handles it himself, goes for the reload. If they try... Ooh, JD. Wallbang. Drops down. Stays safe. Swings wide with his teammates. And it's a 1 versus 3. Spotted above. Spammed. Ted as can be. 9-8. We go. And NIP are looking pretty solid at the moment. Really dealing the damage to G2, and you saw it from Mixwell. We spoke about it previously, saying that it was a really hard match versus NIP. Well, it's certainly looking like one now. The game is on.
You know, I started to wonder lately when I was casting and watching the games that were happening during the challenges. It seems like the op is very, very damaging to the team that buys it but doesn't win rounds. Like, the hit for the economy hurts the team over and over again because it mounts up. If you buy 2 ops and you don't win those rounds, your economy doesn't allow you to even force that much. So I start to wonder, how much viability is there in the operator play if you're just seeing that you have a hard time winning rounds? Maybe it's just worth going for the more economy play with the rifles and just change up a little bit of your playstyle.
And I mean, this is the philosophy that a lot of pro teams will follow. You see teams like Guild that just don't play that operator nearly as much. They'll pick it up every now and then, maybe if you drop it, but it's kind of like doubling down, right? If you make a bet into a round, because every round's basically a bet. You're investing some of your economy with the hope that you win. And these rounds, you know, where you've invested into a ghost, that is gambling, right? Are you going to win? If you don't, you get punished for it. The thing is, with an operator, it has to bring the reward, because if you've invested that extra bit, and it's quite a high percentage of what a normal Vandal is, or Phantom.
And getting just one kill doesn't really give you a net positive, right? So
No,
this
absolutely. It
Yeah.
depends on the situation, but yeah, the majority of the time. He's dead. Dead to be. This round should be a write-off anyways, because G2 just had...
Yeah, this is why we can talk about a little bit, you know, theory about the operator. And I feel like operator is a good pick if your team is already like kind of snowballing, because that allows you to spend that additional cash. But when you're scraping by and you don't really have a lot of economy to go by, can you risk it? Even if you just get one kill, it's not really that positive.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Which is interesting because some players are being hurt by that. Like Mixwell, an example, right? You see him have to play with his knives out as much as possible. He can't really buy any other weapon because of that. And typically, what was so cool about other teams when they played Jet but without the operator, right? They were actually able to play economy even better, because then the Jet player donates the weapons when he plays with knives, which allows the teams to play more force rounds or even full buy rounds because of that. The same goes for Reyna, who plays with small armors, with small shields instead of other equipment. But now let's focus on the map, because there's a huge push. But NIP on B, 5 people going through.
A Stampede Pith, that's a very aggressive ult usage. They can spam it. Patatek, hello, double, already from the backside. Here comes a push on the Pith that's not gonna go their way. And so it's all left down to Akukos. He's got a 1v3. There's the Rolling Thunder. It's going to catch all 3 players, 2 of which are walled off. Flash over to provide some support. They know that player's still on site. They can see him. He's being tagged up. He's being flashed up. And now just pushed by a pistol. Bit aggressive by Mixwell.
Wow.
He went out a second earlier than his teammates, but eventually they go and peek at his 3. And that's it done. 10-9.
This could have actually turned around, because if they would lined up for that Phantom from that range, that would have insta deaths. So if if Akukos gets a little bit lucky, this could have been actually quite damaging, and they didn't have the spike on NIP. So a little bit awkward could have been.
This goes here.
Still 10-9 for NIP. They still have a buffer. They still have good economy. Didn't pay attention, unfortunately, to the tab when it comes to the equipment from G2 right now, but they should have a full buy because they saved with 3 guns last round. Patatek had to rescue himself because, you know, he got tagged by the drone, and the ultimate just fails to deal any damage at all. This is unfortunate.
It hurts when you do that. You pop it off, you get very little for it. There's already been a tag down to existence, but it's not too much to worry about. NIP sat waiting for that push to come through. Patatek had shown some presence here earlier on, but there's going to be absolutely nothing this time around. They start to maneuver their way through middle, just maintaining that control and taking whatever they can. They've got to be worried about Mixwell. They're watching him on top mid. Oh, there's a push in A main, actually. They're starting to go up. Patatek, I said he'd pushed A main before, and here he goes yet again. Kriya's being spotted, spammed, but he still wins the fights! What? Kriya with a double! Looking out for more. They might not know, they shouldn't know, that there's a third player here. Artis, he swings though. He thought maybe it's just one guy. Maybe he's taking the orb. Instead swings into heavy traffic, gets taken down. Slow orb in heaven, guaranteed plant. And what a blunder by G2.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. Also, the timing on the peaks was quite unfortunate for G2 as well. They went 1 by 1 when they knew where Kriya is. That allowed Kriya basically to separate the fights. And even though he played a Vandal and was at a disadvantage in such a close fight... Oh my god. Actually, every single one of them had a Vandal. Never mind, it was equal footing. But still, going 1 by 1 for a trade like that, Zeke had a 50-50 and he lost. And now look at the economy. 2 Buckies, 2 rifles with small shields, and only 1 full buy. We don't know even about the economy. There's no drone for Artis.
Yeah, no, it's a tough one. I think for G2, though, Bucky's defensive side, you can definitely make those work. Question is, will they? And Pith, oh, so close. He gets the tag. That was a very aggressive peek. But maybe he's trying to give away the fact that they've got weak weapons. The fact that it's not the best to buy, you know? Maybe it's 300 IQ, or maybe he just got a bit greedy.
I mean, he wide swinged, you know? That was... that was pretty greedy.
Him out. It's big brain, so the Phantom gets all the kills, you know. That's definitely not what's happened. He just got caught with his pants down on that. Thought he could get the kill. Sometimes it doesn't hit that one shot and you're you're in trouble for it. Zeke gives away the extra bookie, and the immediate reaction from NIP. Bookie, nope, let's rotate back, and they're on their way.
That's something that I really like about the discipline of players. And now, that's such a crucial kill. They get the info from Cypher. They know what's happening, but they still push towards B. 4 players. I mean, they made the decision. We have 4 versus 2, and it's just a Jet, just a Sova. Let's go. We have the flashes ready.
G2,
Not much can stop them.
Sticking in position, there's no way they expect Mixwell. They're going to kill Artis. Mixwell jumps around, catches one completely off guard.
Now they know.
They know he's here, so he can't stop the plant, but he can stop them getting there. There's the spike dropped. Pops his ultimate on the backside. We need to watch Mixwell. He's about to take another fight, rushing out close right. And he's dead. So never mind. We're on Patatek. We need to be, but he rushes forward. Why?
Oh my god.
Communication. That is communication. They obviously didn't realize Spike is down, or that maybe they thought that it had been picked up. Mixwell knew both players are coming from the alleyway, so all he needs to do there, or all someone needs to do, is make that call. They don't have Spike. They don't have time. All you have to do is hide or catch them when they go to the Spike, right? When you know where they are. But I guess that was just a big brain play. You know, jump out, try to...
Let's pay attention now. Let's pay attention now. When he kills the Sage, does he get the info that the Spike gets down there? It was behind the smoke.
It was behind it. And I think he could definitely see a tiny bit of it on the bottom. Question is,
do you get the info?
Out?
No, but you should get the info when you kill the spike holder, right? When you see it clearly.
Spike is dropped.
But I am not certain if it was like, you know, you still had seen the character, but only the legs. Maybe there was no notification about the spike. This is why no one called it.
Yeah, when you see him get the kill, the spike goes up in the air, right? So it's still behind the smoke. When it fell, he could definitely see a small part of it. But the problem I have is I don't think he peeked back out to Ali. I think he immediately walked back in before it even touched the floor, and then looked at the guys coming down the alleyway on his right. So maybe they didn't have that information at all, actually, in hindsight. Which really sucks for Patatek, because when he peeked and saw, like, he sees both players first of all, but when you see your teammate sees that spike, you're just like, oh no.
Well, is that an aggressive push? It's being held by G2. They hold their ground. A flash from Akukos probably dictates that they're gonna push, but aggressive peek from Patatek now is being, like, this is like a bite for a bite, right? Some small map control giving away by G2, then they fight back, then NIP try to retake it, and they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But no one ultimately won any of that A control. So now we're just going back to the default position of attack.
Yeah, but for NIP, they're the ones that are applying the pressure, right? They're on map point to take the first and put all that pressure on G2 then. How are they going to respond over on the defensive side? There's a scan. I don't think it spotted anybody. That's really big, but they destroyed it. But there's 4 players in mid when that scanned. So if it caught that info, that puts you in a pretty tough position where you have to react instantly and take some map control or spread out or do something, because they're going to push somewhere. They're going to take their own control knowing where you are. But instead, it doesn't see anyone. Now NIP looks to move into the B site. They want to push through. They've taken down Artis. That could cause rotates. Mixwell is still conscious that they could come out. Pith spamming through the smoke, catches a wall bang headshot onto Chihuahua. That is a massive pickup. They know where Chihuahua is. 10 seconds left. It's time to go. Pith on the site now. The solo defender Zeke breaks down the wall to cause some paranoia, but Pith, he's gone. Spike is going to be planted in time, and it's a 2v4. NIP so close to taking this map and putting themselves one step closer to securing their spot in Masters. It's only Zeke and Patatek left to try and stop it. No ultis to play with, and even if they had them, I think the Seekers is all they really would hope for in this situation. The heals are there for Patatek, but not for Zeke. He's still on 6 HP. He gets himself a Vandal. He needs it, really, considering his health. Has to rely on the one-shot headshot. They dodge the tag, they swing out, and they line up for Chihuahua. 13-9 as we close out.